is going on, traders? It's Jay, and thanks for checking out my trade journey. Today is June 29th, and I want to talk about SPEX, S-P-E-X. So if you were in the markets today, watching the markets, listening to the market chatter, tweets, Facebook, whatever, you had to have heard about this stock. This thing was just on fire today, and I got a little piece of the action. So pre-market, it had gapped up, and I was looking at the 475 high as maybe a opening range breakout. So it kind of pittered along here, and it's a few bucks. I thought, hey, I can actually take a few more shares on this one than some of the more expensive stocks that I've been looking at lately and following. So I was watching this in VRX because VRX has been continuing this trend up. I keep looking for a red day, and it's not happening. So I was watching those two stocks for a move today. It's getting towards the end of the month. I was like, I need to get some more money in my account. I need to make a trade today because my platform fees are going to come out, and I don't want to be too far onto margin for this square position that I'm still holding on to. So watched it pre-market, and first couple of minutes it started to wash, and I thought, okay, this is kind of typical. It's probably just going to fall off. And then it started making a little move up, getting a little volume in, and still watching it. But I started to get interested when it did this right here, and I want to zoom in on this, and I'll tell you why. So not only do we have this little trend, right, where it's making higher lows, which is obviously a bullish sign, but you've got all of this resistance right here, and once it gets through that, the thing should probably explode. So you've got VWAP right here at 311, you've got the 9 EMA at 314, the 50 EMA at 316, and then a pivot point at 319. So I'm like, holy shit, if this thing hits 320, it's probably just going to rip. And this is, 5 minutes into the market, right? I wish I had this live. I tried to set up my screen capture this morning, and it was being funny, and then I heard the bell open, so I just closed it out, and I missed the live action. But you see these wicks. This thing was just jumping all over the place. The tape was flying. There was a lot of action going on here. And it wasn't that there was a lot of shares, right? I mean, you're talking about 500,000. There was about 1 million shares in the opening candle. But it's enough volatility that it makes you think like, oh, like, do I really want to jump in on this? Especially when kind of looking at this mess. So anyway, so I'm looking at this area right here. I'm like, man, I'm going to jump in on this thing if it breaks this 320. So next candle starts to form, and it's making this move right here. Volume's increasing. So I'm like, cool. So I hit the buy button. Well, what I did was I bought VRX because I had two montages set up, one for VRX and SPEX. So I'm like, oh, shit. So sell off that real quick for a couple dollar loss plus commission. So I lost, I don't know, like 14 bucks on that right away. Hit the buy button, and I got in at 325 for 400 shares. And this thing just, it was on fire. I was trying to put my stop limit in, and I see my P&L touch 100 bucks. It ran up to like 115 real quick, and I was like, man, I need to get this money and get out. So what I did was I started trading my P&L, and you may have heard that term. So people say, don't trade your P&L. Unfortunately, for me, with a small account, I'm going to trade my P&L. 100 bucks is almost 20% of my account balance. So imagine you had a 100 grand account, and you saw it spike up to $20,000 inside of 30 seconds. You would probably want to take that profit too, right? So I cashed out after the VRX snafu. It gave me a net of 75 bucks for the day, which I was happy with. I said, okay, good enough. I'm fine with that. Well, obviously what I didn't see was this thing proceeded to just rip even higher. If I had maybe been smart enough to put my stop loss in and just leave it and see what happened, I might have been able to capture another 15 cents. Probably not. Maybe, let's say I got another dime, right? So another 40 bucks. Don't get greedy, right? You know, everybody says, oh man, I missed out on that, right? Because this stock just went crazy. And I saw this happen a little bit later, and I thought, yeah, see it. That's why I take my profits, because this thing dumped off from 375 down to 320 in a heartbeat. I mean, and this is a 1 minute candle, but it was like rip in a couple of seconds, and it had dropped off a half a point already. So that's why you want to get in, you want to get out, especially with the small account balance, right? 400 shares, that would have cost me $200 right there. But instead, I was able to capitalize on $100. I'm okay with that. And then, lo and behold, this thing touches again. And it's like, hey, here's VWAP, here's the 50, here's that pivot point, here's the 9, all together. And it pops up, and then it fakes out again. And then we get a candle that closes over VWAP and all this trash. I probably would have gotten in here had I still been watching the stock. I took off. I went to work. You know, I made my $100. I said, man, I'm out. I'm green on the day. I'm going to work. So I check in on this thing later, and look at this move. It made another point. I think it went from 320 to 420. And none of these would give you any indicator that, hey, I need to get out, because it's just open, close, high, open, close, high, open, close, higher, open, close, higher, all the way up. Nice little, I mean, what a picture-perfect move to capitalize on. Had I been in that, let's say I'd even only taken 200 shares, that'd have been another $200, right? I can't complain. I can't complain about missing out because I had a green day. And when you're trading a small account, that's what's important. I made almost 20% of my account value in 30 seconds, right? You'll see here my times. I traded this at 936 in 50 seconds, and I sold it at 937 in 13 seconds. So I literally only held this for 23 seconds, and I made $100. That's the power of charts and the power of day trading. So I hope you got a piece of this today, either long or short. There was good opportunities on both sides. That's it. See you guys on the next one.